The cafe on the corner smelled like cinnamon and warm bread. Outside, snow was falling softly, turning the city into a quiet postcard. Sky sat by the window, glasses slipping down her nose, staring blankly at her laptop screen. She wrote human stories for a small local magazine. Stories about people who changed something in their world. But that day she couldn't change her own. Her breakup still stung, like a bruise that never healed. Coffee had become her armor and work, her distraction. The bell above the door rang and Sky didn't even look up, until she heard a soft, embarrassed laugh. "Seems like I just spilled coffee on myself. And probably on my destiny too," a voice said. Sky lifted her eyes. In front of her stood a girl with short chestnut hair, an oversized scarf and a latte stain on her sleeve. "Sorry," the stranger said, her cheeks flushed. "Mind if I sit here before I melt completely?" Sky smiled. "Go ahead. Even snow would be welcome here today." That's how it started. Her name was Riley. She taught piano to kids at a small music school nearby. Her eyes were green and full of light, and Sky realized she hadn't seen such warmth in a long time. They talked easily about snow, about music, about how silence sometimes says more than words. Riley made her laugh, really laugh, for the first time in months. When Riley stood to leave, she asked, "Do you always sit here alone?" "Not always," Sky replied. "Sometimes silence is just easier than people." Riley smiled. "And I'm always chasing conversations. Maybe we should balance each other out." Sky didn't know why, but she said yes. They began meeting often. Riley brought croissants, Sky brought stories. The cafe became their ritual, their quiet world between chaos and calm. But as the bond grew, so did Sky's fear. She learned that Riley had left a long relationship behind. She spoke about it gently, but there was sorrow behind her smile, the kind that never completely fades. One evening, as the cafe was closing, Sky finally confessed, "I don't know how to start again. It's like I only have half a heart left, and it's afraid to belong to anyone." Riley looked at her for a long moment. "Then let your half just stand next to mine," she said softly. "No rush. No pressure." Those words stayed with Sky. Winter turned to spring. Sky wrote again, this time about love, about people who were brave enough to try again. Riley composed new melodies inspired by their talks. But then Riley disappeared. No messages. No calls. A week then too. Sky sat alone again in their cafe, the one that still smelled of cinnamon and memory. And just as she gave up waiting, she heard music, familiar notes coming from the doorway. Riley walked in carrying a small toy piano, snow melting in her hair. She set it on the table, pressed a few keys, and that same gentle tune filled the room. "I had to leave," she said quietly. "My mom got sick. I went back home. I wrote to you, but I guess the letters never made it." Sky's throat tightened. "I thought you were gone for good." "I don't really know how to leave when I love someone," Riley whispered. "Sometimes love just tests if you'll wait." They sat in silence. Then Riley reached for her hand. "Can I stay this time?" "Yes," Sky breathed. "Stay for real." Their kiss wasn't desperate or loud. It was quiet and real, like the moment both of them had been unknowingly walking toward all along. From that day on, the cafe became home. Riley played soft tunes in the evenings. Sky wrote about people who found love when they weren't looking for it. They learned how to be near without fear, and how to love without running away. And every time the snow began to melt, Sky remembered Riley's words. "Then let your half just stand next to mine." Sometimes two broken halves don't need fixing. They just need to find each other.